Hello everybody, my name is Alex Serbu. I'm technical lead of BT24 BI Connector project, and I want to tell you about some interesting and useful techniques how to clone and modify functions in Power BI, how to clone and modify queries in Power BI, how we can control behavior of functions and queries in Power BI via parameters of different types. But first of all, I want to remind you that it's good to debug debug queries to BTX24 BI connector in your portal using Postman client like this, Postman REST API client. So I put you put the name of your BT24 portal. Now here I put the URL of demo portal. Here you put the name of a table or BI entity. You know, let me remind you. You know that you can see the names of tables via this URL. We put here the names of tables and names of each field and the type of each field of BI entities. So there are more than 10 BI entities and you can use them all. So I put the name of BI entity. I put here, this is demo key. You will be using your key from BT24 portal. Here I ask to select leads from this date to this date using date modify column. So deals are by default filtered by data create column, and leads by default are filtered by data modify column. After it, I ask to select only 3 fields. It's very important and useful to explicitly ask to select only these fields, only some fields, not all fields. When you ask BI connector to select all fields, it will create a big load on server, and you will be waiting a lot of time. For example, maybe tens of seconds or minutes. But if you put just several columns, you need to work to. Your queries will be very fast for seconds. After it, I put some filtering conditions. So I say, please select leads with ID as in interval starting with 6 and ending with 9 inclusively. So let's start query, and you see that BTX24 BI connector returned 6, 7, 8, 9 IDs of leads. So the query works okay. Now I want to move to copy this logic to Power BI. What I can do? Let's open Power BI. Here we see parameters, server address, secret key, and function loading data. And after in this folder we see query, Power BI query. Let's open this query. What query means? Query, it's very weird term in Power BI. I don't know why they call this query. This is just script for retrieving data using Haskell like language called Power Query M language. This is just formula language, very simple. absolutely simple, absolutely clear and understandable. So here I say, please use this function and load CRM lead BI entity to row t variable. After it, put types on row t variable. For ID, use integer type. For data modify, use data type, and use US English local. And put this variable fixed t calculated with fixed types. Put it here. So just formula, just simple formula language, very simple for kids. I think my daughters understand this language very well. It's very simple language. So first of all, let's look here. We can modify types of columns of data in Power BI. For example, I can delete this type dot modify, and you will see what will change. Dot modify now has a type general type, so this is not date. I cannot use calendar uh, charts on this column because it has general type. Now I put date type on this column, and you will see that column will allow. Do you see? Column change type. So we can use calendar stuff on this column. Now let's change type here for ID column. Now it has number type, and I can delete I can delete this type number type and just look on the type by default. By default it has general type, but it's better to use a concrete technical type. In this case it will be integer type. So users don't hesitate put correct types. Below this you see how you can change types for different columns, and columns are here. So you see column ID here, you see type here, and you can use this type. Don't hesitate to use this type here. But if you want, you can you don't have to put these types. You can use default types, really. Okay. Do you see ID? Now let's download different BI entity. Not, for example, not CRM lead, but CRM deal. So I put CRM deal here and start query. So now we have 4,987 distinct roles, and start query deal. Do you see different number? So these are deals. So changing this string, you can change types of BI entities. It's just it's not complex idea, but you need to understand this. After it, let's start to control behavior of this function of using, for example, parameters. So let's add two parameters: start date and end date. New parameter, type is date, and let's put date. I recorded the good value is 19 October, the 19th of October, 2021. Start date. and let's create new parameter named end date 20th of October. 20th, the 20th of October 2021. Type is date. Type is date. Now you see two parameters having the type date, but you can create number type parameters, string type parameters, and different type. You can use different type for creating these parameters. Now let's clone this function. This function, I remind you, is querying data from BTX24 from BTX24 portal. So I want to duplicate it, and now press F2 and rename it. For example, lead2. So now I have two functions, and let's see inside this function. What do you see? You see that this function is written using Haskell like query language, Power Query language, very simple formal language. Kids now understand this language. It's like Python, very simple language. So just let's put start date and end date that range here. So I copy this syntax construction here and paste here, but not secret key, but it will be start date, and here it will be end date, and let's now change the default column for filtering dates. Let's put this key config params date create. So by default leads are filtered by date modify, but let's filter dates in leads by date create. So I put this config param here. Config params equals time filter column date create. I remind you, you can use these params here in Postman, but Postman uses JSON syntax constructions. JSON syntax constructions. But PowerBI uses, I don't know, alien syntax constructions. Very strange, but you need to get used to them. So they're different. But the logic is the same. So let's filter. Let's filter now. But this function is called lead2. Yes, lead2. Okay. Let's modify this query to use lead2. So I put 2 here, and now this query will be using this new modified function. Done. And now you see date create has values 20th of October only and 19th of October because we selected this stuff here. But let's change the 19th of October to the 20th of October here, and you will see that create has values only the 20th of October. Do you see? It works. So now we can control this function using two parameters. Yes, very useful technique, I think. Now let's open this function and let's make this param using variable. Okay, this is 5. Let's create a variable. let's create a new variable, new parameter named years ago. Years ago. Uh, type will be I don't know. Let's put any type. Let's put, for example, 5 years. Years ago, 5 years. Okay, 5. And let's use this parameter here. Minus 6k. I will copy this syntax construction and minus 5. I don't know. This will be years ago, and let's put the different value here, minus 5, and let's change the function here to load entity result to that's load entity. It works. Let's change this minus 1 for example. Do you see? It works. So these parameters control this function, and this one parameter called years ago controls this function. All works. All was good. Now let's put the condition of selecting only these IDs, 6, 7, 8, 9 IDs of leads in Power BI. So we need to use different syntax, converting this worldwide JSON syntax to alien not JSON syntax. So let's put this instruction to Power BI, and we will see. So dimension filters. Here is please select IDs with values from 6 to 9 using operator between. In the previous video on my YouTube channel, you saw, I hope, the description of different types of operators. For example, we can use equal operator, also equals operator. So let's see. So leads need to use this lead2 function, and we let's put here a big interval. Let's use a different interval here. For example, 2022 date. And now let's see. You see that Power BI selected 4 leads with IDs 6, 7, 8, 9. So as we put here 6, 7, 8, 9 leads, include between. Now let's select only one lead using value 9 and operator equals. Do you see? It works. So let's make this magic here in Postman, and you will see the result will be the same. Do you see? The result is the same. Very good. And at the last, I want to show you that you can clone these functions too. this function, this query too. So duplicate and let's rename it to deals. Let's query deals here using function lead without two, but here we will put CRM deal BI entity name. Let's start this CRM deal. Done. Oh, the table is empty. Why? Maybe because we need to put more years ago. For example, let's put 10 years ago. Deal. Yes, for 10 years we will see deals for 10 years. Do you see? Deals. This is deal for 10. So let's create new parameter called BI type BI name with the type of text, for example, with value CRM lead. Okay, let's rename this function BI entity only, and let's put the parameter here. So let's put please load table with the name of BI name, for example. Let's load table called BI name. Let's deals, for example. Deals now will load leads because leads. You see, so now we have leads 4987. Let's change it to CRM deal. Do you see different numbers? So these are deals. So now you can use parameters of different types to control the behavior of load data functions, and you can clone these functions, and you can, for example, connect one functions to one query, and for example this query to this function, and that query to that function, and you can also to add, for example, folders here, new groups, for example, tests, and put functions in groups, for example. So you can copy this function here, you can copy this parameter here, so you can group, for example, queries with functions. For example, if I copy this function here, paste. Do you see the Power BI copied parameters, and it's good decision to copy parameters because this function uses these parameters, and I can create other query using this function. Let's create, for example, load entity 3, bit624 load entity 3, and let's clone this query, duplicate this query, and let's deal 3. Deal 3 will be using, for example, bit24 load entity 3. It will be using this function. It works. But now let's change BI name here, set to CRM lead, and let's look here. you see 4, 9, and you see 4, 4, 6. So the functions controlled by these parameters. Um, what I want to say yet more, I want to show you the structure of this function. So here we are forming, we are creating a JSON content. You understand date range, secret key, and these parameters, dimension filters, and fields. You can select some fields with some dimension filters, and using different filtering by date using this construction. And in here we just creating from JSON we are creating a table, just internal object of Power BI from parsed JSON. So we skip heads in JSON. So we skip this row with names of columns. We skip this row, and we use second row and all rows except first row here. So skip and first. So data is all data without first row, and header is just 0 row. So I hope you now you understand in very deep details how you can change and modify and control Power BI functions and queries, and I hope it will your productivity will be good now. It will be increased, and Happy New Year. I wish you luck and see you. Bye bye.